The next speaker is Monsieur Shameel Yusuf. Mr. Shameel, my question will be related to what we need in terms of talent in the continent. But before to ask the question, I would like just to push two numbers. I think in 2018, 2019, the WIPO report have shown that the world have produced about 3.5 million patents in the world. And yet Africa, all the countries reunited, they have produced only 12,000 patents. And out of the 12,000 patents, 6,000 are from South Africa and about 2,000 from Morocco, and the remaining actually of all African countries, definitely. And looking into the report, you will see that there is a strong connection between private sector, public sector, and good governance if you want to produce more patent and to move innovation and technology, definitely. So what do you think for the success of vaccine manufacturing in Africa? What is critical? How can public and private sector come together to establish the linkages, the necessary linkages between business and universities, domestically, but also abroad? And how can private sector really push governments, to establish the type of environment that we need to create the local capabilities and the talent, in the vaccine manufacturing sector? Mr.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Adjudicator. I think so for me, I think first and foremost, I think COVID's been a wake-up call for Africa in many respects, in that our ability and capability to produce our own vaccines have been seriously lacking. And therefore, we need to create the right skills. I think first of all, it starts off with creating the right environment to attract the right level of investment for vaccine manufacturing, but also for big companies to establish manufacturing across the continent. So we've got to create the right incentives on the one side for them to come and establish, but part of that would be, does the skills exist? So yes, we'd like to come and develop it in a particular country, but does the skill set exist to be able to do it? And I think in that regard, we need to identify the skills that are required, and then partner with the different universities and create the different skill sets. And I think in that way, if we're taking a forward view of what will be required 5 years from now, and start with the early development on the one side of those skill sets, and make sure that we've got the right courses at our universities, I think that will help a lot. And then, of course, in between, there's what is needed right now, and how can we take those graduates that are coming up and, of course, train them and provide the necessary training programs to ensure. So I think the attraction's got to be that, look, we've got the skills for you, we're developing the skills, but we're also creating the right environment for you, including things like tax incentives and so on, to be able to come and develop within Africa. So that's the first part. I think the other part that can be done is really companies that are already in the manufacturing space to then make specific strategic partnerships with other players, global players, and then do cross-pollination campaigns. And then companies can also do their own upliftment campaigns within, where they basically take different levels of their own staff and essentially upskill. So you look at the skills gap, and you basically then create the right skill sets that are required. And given the varied number of skills, there's various different ways that you can address some of the problems. So unemployment in Africa is like, the opportunities are there. So I'll give you an example. One of the things that we do in coordination with government, which can be done, the same kind of programs can be adopted into the vaccine space as well. One of the things that we do in South Africa, as an example, is we have we run 97 teacher training centers with government where effectively we provide support to government to run those teacher training centers and run it on behalf of government. But they also double up as youth centers. So in 10 of them, what we've done is we actually physically take unemployed youth off the streets and put them into a development program. And in that way, you know, we have a partnership with Google, with Cisco, and with Microsoft. And we develop a certain skill sets in ICT. And then once they finish the course, then we recruit from those skill sets. And I think the similar kind of thing could be done in the vaccine space as well. And then we have very deliberate programs that also speak to it. And again, the same kind of thing can be emulated for the production of the vaccines. Just to give you some of the things that we do, we've created, for example, a female leadership program where essentially, as a company, we go and identify specifically female talent, and in our case, Black female talent, where essentially we need to develop more Black females. So we go and identify these leaders in other companies. We put them into our development programs, enhance them, but keep a tracker on them to see how they're enhancing in their careers. And that gives us a nice part to recruit from. And I think that's, you know, that becomes a nice way to develop. We do the same with female farmers in Kenya through Safaricom, where we have where we use technology and have what we call a female digital farming program called DigiFarm, where we develop female farmers and use the platform to basically provide opportunities. So, I think we have, the point I'm trying to make is I think that we have solutions, but it does take a deliberate set of actions, a deliberate focus from governments together with private sector to create some of these opportunities, whether it be, the partnerships with the universities. Big pharma can already start to make certain where you basically recruit entire classes and you embed skills that you're looking for, so that those skills and those specific things that you're looking for can be embedded into the programs early on. And then you can recruit whole classes if need be. That's the way we do it. So when we need skills, an example, artificial intelligence skills or big data skills, we go and actually do partnerships with the university. And then as they're coming out, we're trying to hire the entire class because we know the skill sets are short. So I think those type of development programs can definitely be put into action quite quickly. And then upskilling your own timber and drawing people from the broader population and effectively developing them. But it's got to be a deliberate program in each country for us to be able to deliver.